Hello and welcome to the Gone Traveling Podcast with you from Regensburg, Germany, David Hein. I am chatting about the BKT EuroCup, the road to greatness with Sergio Llebres, who's down in Valencia. Uh, Sergio, how you doing? I know that a lot of people are probably um, hoping that everything is getting better down there in Spain. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Yeah, things are getting better in a slow, very, very slow way, but I think people had shown their best version against this type of horrific uh, livings that we have to suffer. But um, I think there's some light that is showing very, very far away, but we need to keep going. And the best way to keep going is to continue talking about our thing that is basketball. And the perfect way is to continue with this eighth episode. That time flies because just like it was yesterday, we were talking about the first episode. So this is a very positive thing to have to consider. So let's get it. Let's go to the round
Let's
seven.
roll. Let's
Yeah,
roll. Yeah, round seven. Valencia still undefeated, heavy-hearted, but still undefeated, taking down Aris on the road. And you have Jerusalem and Bourg both at 5-2, right behind Valencia. And then in Group A, Bahcesehir still on top at 6-1. Now on their own though, as Gran Canaria is at 5-2, followed by four teams at 4-3. Starting to see a little bit of the chaos in the lower mid to lower parts of the standings, where really, every point counts. You don't
yeah,
know who you're going to be in a tie with, where the tiebreaker comes, and really you can't afford big losses. So we're gonna talk about this isn't actually a game that neither of us really wanted to talk about, but one of the things I did want to just really briefly with Valencia mention is that it was a good one for them because it showed that they heavy hearted, everything that's going on back home and there in Greece, but they can win an ugly game too. I mean, they had won by 16, by 27. They had the big comeback by Cluj, against Cluj to win by 9, 20, 22, 14 points. They'd been averaging 99.2 points a game, and then won a 50, 63, 59 just defensive slugfest. So I think it's good for them also to show that they can really get to win a game that's kind of dirty and
yeah.
but to get it done.
Yeah, this game remind me a lot of the last year's performances from Valencia in the EuroLeague, that they try to slow the game a lot.
With
And
Coach Moonbro.
with Mumru, yeah, just in numbers and things like that, because of the bad shooting, the low rhythm and things like that. But Valencia tried to maintain their play style, but Aris made their thing. They tried to get Valencia in comfort, uh, and they almost had it until the last minute. So props to them, to the Greeks, but Valencia has a lot of potential. And unless they have a very, very, very bad day, they will be the favorites for any round.
Yeah. So that's actually not the game that we wanted to address, either of us, but I thought it kind of was worth mentioning. Game you wanted to talk about,
Yeah,
the free falling Joventut losing at Trento.
the really free falling from Juventud, because La Peña. We were talking about that Valencia could win any type of game, and Juventud can lose every type of game, because every team has proposed something different to Joventut, and Joventut couldn't handle it. Now Joventut had the game in its hands because Trento railed from 13 points down in the final 6 minutes, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, and Trento then trailed to 16, also trailed by 16 points midway through the second quarter or something like that. And these aren't the games that you can lose, because now Juventud is 2-5, and this loss 78 to 76 by 2 points isn't a very good sign. They're collapsing. They in the closing minutes are not getting it the right way. Only I always say the same thing, but Ante Tomic is the only one that is showing a little bit. Another double-double of 17 points and 13 rebounds. But he committed 2 turnovers and then an sportsmanlike foul in the final 2 minutes. I think very frustrating for the Croatian. So Dolimiti Energia Trento also played a good game. I think Jordan Ford is always orchestrating very well the offense. There is a little bit of inconsistency by him in scoring, because there are games that he can give the team like 25 points, and then another game that he makes only 12, things like that. But he's very consistent in showing up in the offense, organizing. So yeah, and Trento staged an incredible comeback, 13-point deficit, and then clawed back in the game multiple times. So the victory brings Trento to a 3-4 record, and then overall with an impressive 3-1 home record this season. And I think that's the key for Trento this season. They're home and they're keeping up the energy.
Yeah, I was actually going to save to talk about this game until the end because we have a surprise part at the end. And Tomic, you mentioned Tomic and the mistakes was actually, you don't expect that, from a 37-year-old veteran. There was the unsportsmanlike, which, that's a questionable call. But then the 2 turnovers are really bad. Trying to pass to Hanga, and then the offensive foul. Yeah, so that was really a surprise for me that Tomic was actually one of the main reasons
Yeah.
why they lost that game, why they got rid of the momentum. And you mentioned so they have now lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And they've now won just 2 games in the regular season in the last 10 2 wins in the last 10 games in the regular season dating back to last season. And one of the things that Trento only made 8 turnovers, which I love what Coach Galibiati said after. We had just 8 turnovers, which for us is kind of like a miracle. They were ranked 16th in the league with 16.3 turnovers, so that was a major reason why they were able to pull this game out. And for me, this is much more indicative of a struggle that Joventut finds itself in right now. And I don't know, what do you think they have to do to get out of it? I mean, is it coach? Is it you need to find somebody who can score?
It's
Dotson wasn't able to bring it out,
yeah.
To come up with baskets at the end. It's something that I've been saying now really for all seasons. Just, you can't have guys like Vives and those guys, they're not scorers at the end of the game when you need a bucket.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to rely on a guy like not it's not his fault, but a guy like Cassius Robertson that needs the team to generate the good situation for him to score. And I don't think Devon Dodson is the one that can bring up that to him, because
Yeah, but
he
who is it then? That's the thing.
yeah,
They had who's the guy, the Dominican they had last year?
Andres Feliz.
Felice, exactly. I mean, he was your go-getter. He was your basket getter. they don't have that right here. I don't, like I said, Robertson, I don't know if that he's the guy, and Dotson hasn't been able to do it, scored
Yeah.
14, whatever. But, you need, when you need a basket, when they're making a run, you need the guy to go in there and get it. And
Yeah, and it's kind of shocking that there's this type of inconsistency, but because you can find Juventud winning Baskonia in Vitoria in the ACB League, and then falling to Gran Canaria in the EuroCup at home, and then winning by 15 to Girona, another one, another, sorry, again in the ACB League, and then losing to Trento. It's kind of a roller coaster for them to manage this double competition. EuroCup isn't that hard for Spanish teams to handle, because if you compare to the double round weeks of the EuroLeague, there's there's a lot of difference. But I think Juventud isn't getting very well this double dynamic. At the beginning of the competition, they were suffering some absences, like Tomic, then also hang up, and now they are full equip. And I don't think there's any type of justification to have this roller coast feeling. People, the followers of Juventud are suffering a lot because they don't know what to expect in any game. And you had a very good point on mentioning the go-to guy in the offense, because there's no one showing up consistently. Like we mentioned, Ford for Trento,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
or Anthony Lamb. So very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my game I want to talk about. Don't look now, but Wolves
Yeah.
have won four in a row. They beat Gran Canaria at home, on the road, 66-68.
Who played that?
4 game winning streak. Three of those games are on the road. Two of those games against Spanish teams on the road. They also beat Joventut, which was actually the first win of the year and the first win of this 4 game winning streak. And kind of an ugly slugfest, like we mentioned with Valencia. And but look at that, 21 offensive rebounds
Mhm.
to just 6 for Gran Canaria, and then all you got to look and say 26-5 second chance points in a game in the 60s. You can't do that. But what I liked about this game was, they took a punch. They were up by 6, and then Gran Canaria went on an 11-1 run to take a 4 point lead. 4 minutes, we're really struggling, and then they got back and took the lead again with a looks like a 3-11 answer. And then we're just able to produce, hit some free throws down the stretch to win the game. Kind of stuck to their tempo. Didn't let Gran Canaria run. And, it was good to see Jeffrey Taylor back. He missed the last game with a
Yeah.
concussion. And as far as I know, they're still going to get Arnoldas Kobolka back sometime this season. He hasn't played yet. He was a EuroLeague guy, a big time EuroCup guy. And I think he was all EuroCup team 2 years ago and missed basically all of last season. And as my understanding is he's still going to come back sometime this season. So when they get him, that's another. I mean, he's a nice weapon to have offensively as well. So your thoughts on Wolves Gran Canaria?
Yeah, the Wolves have the tools to make an impact in this season in the EuroCup. I think we underestimate them. Not you because of your power rankings, but I think
I need to go back and see where they were.
many people underestimated them because of their bad beginning, but now they are rolling, and they're 4-3 in a quadruple tie in Group A. They're they're the same record as Hapoel Tel Aviv. That's kind of interesting. Also, ratiopharm and Besiktas, and they're one win away from Gran Canaria in the second spot. And yeah, Gran Canaria here surprised because of you can Gran Canaria show that they could like manage any type of game. You can go to that Bahcesehir, I think it was. They went to the overtime. Also, they had a very low scoring win some rounds ago. But now Wolves got their spot here, and also in a very grupal win. There wasn't anyone shining the most, and I think Matas Jogela was very good. Also, Anthony Cowan was with those two free throws to secure the win because you have to make them. So I think everyone's getting more confident, and also everyone's getting implied there. So Garrison Brooks, Brooks Garrison solo, sorry, also was very important at the end, and that's it. Anthony Cowan was prolific with the free throws. I think he made like 5 or 7 free throws in the fourth quarter, and when the game was on the line. So very low scoring game at the final minutes. I think anyone could win, and this type of games, this type of wins give Wolves like wings to think they can have very high standards at least in the regular season.
I actually had them 15th. So I was much further down on them than I probably should have been. So my
Oh,
apologies to Wolves for
sorry.
having them down at 15th. I think when the break is either when the break or when they meet to get the halfway point, whichever one is first, I think I'll update my power rankings. All right. Player that you want to highlight.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one. Someone who's almost 40 points this round cannot be not mentioned. So Anthony Brown is the player for me this round. 39 points with a very, very, very good efficiency. It was uh, literally a show because he made 6 of 9 two-pointers, 8 of 10 triples. That's impressive to guide Turk Telekom to a 90-80 win against Cluj Napoca. Anthony Brown only rested for a minute and a half and scored almost the half of the
See what he did. I
points.
didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, a minute. No,
he
not even a minute. They have a minute and 5 seconds.
yeah, a minute and 5 seconds. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's incredible. But he's like playing like 35 minutes a game, and having this type of efficiency without resting is impressive, because
Yeah.
he's not only there for scoring, because he made 7 assists. He gave 7 assists, sorry, and he was also orchestrating the offense. So he was uh, in literally in every possession, and having this season 60% of efficiency in two-pointers, 38% in three-pointers with 19 points per game, averaging 35 minutes per game. I know if you play more, you will get more shots, but having this type of efficiency without resting, I think it's impressive. And now Turk Telekom snapped a 3 game skid and improved to 4-3 in Group B. Uh, this 99-80 home win, because I said 90, sorry, was a blistering performance from Brown, and this obviously is a career high for him. And we have to mention also two players here in this game, because Brian Angola, that came to Turk Telecom with the season also already started, had 21 points and 8 boards, and Makundu also had very good performance with 18. And Turk Telecom bounced back they had a deficit of 8 points in the first quarter. They were 22-30, but Brown emerged and they had a win. Also, Xavier Simpson, the hook guy, the sky hook guy, had also a very good game. He's showing that he's very complete. That can um, give the team anything it needs because 22 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. He's in every type of the stat line, and also Zach Hankins with 20 points. But despite the efforts, they got to the 3-4 record, and now Turk Telekom gets a balsamic win because they needed to win now because three losses was so complicated. Since they played Valencia, they were only losing and they were going down in the standings.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. He came up big, but it was also a very important game.
Yeah,
3-game losing streak, and they were tied at 3-3 with Cluj as well. And to get a nice big 19-point victory over, in case they might be even with them in the standings later, also definitely helps as far as tie breaks. 8 of 10. He had been shooting. He had made only 5 of 24 from threes so far this season. So yeah, really lit it up. You mentioned the assists. He's got 17 assists in the last 3 games,
yeah,
so that's a pretty good thing. And people who know me know my stats geek, and I love to go look and see, where, performances rank. I didn't even think about the 39 to check, but I wanted to know about 8 3-pointers, if he's ever made 8 3-pointers. And that's his high ever in Europe. He had six,
of course.
5 times, twice in the G League, once with Lavuel, and twice last season with Bourg-en-Bresse, once in the league and once in the BCL. But it's not his record. His record was actually from the 17-18 season when he was playing for the Iowa Wolves in the G League, and he was playing against the Oklahoma City Blue, where he went 10 of 16. So he made 10 3-pointers. That was his record. So, but 8 3-pointers, very impressive.
Yeah,
My guy is another 3-point shooter. Well, my guy is a 3-point shooter, definitely. Brown can do a lot of things, but Fletcher Magee from Buducnost, 4 of 6 on threes, 23 points in that thrilling overtime win, 105-100 over Ulm. Magee tied the game with his fourth three, and then in the closing seconds, and then Yogi Ferrell had 17 points in the game, hit his three with 10 seconds left to pretty much ice the game. Buducnost, kind of like Joventut, really gave up the game. It was a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they gave it up and had to go to overtime. Yeah, Magee, he tied his career high from round 5 when he had 23 points against Bahcesehir. But in between those games, he was scoreless last week
yeah,
against Maccabi in 10 minutes. And one thing that, you look at the 4 of 6 threes and you're like, okay, that's Magee, right? But he made 5 of 7 on twos. And I thought, wait a minute, seven 2-point shot attempts? That's a lot. And it was a lot because he had been only 6 of 12 on 2-pointers in the first 6 games.
yeah,
So he only took 12 2-point shots in the first 6 games, shooting 54.8% on threes this season, 55% 3-point shooter. He's got 4 games of 3 points or more. Last season, he shot 27.9 on 3-pointers. There's a piece coming up on him later this week on the site that I wrote. I interviewed him, and he said that's a catastrophe. I don't want to hear that number again, but it's all going to balance out this year. That means I'm over 50%, so it'll all balance out. He's shooting 55%. The piece is about him. This is his 5th season. He's an American. He's from Florida, and this is his 5th season in Podgorica, in the city, in the capital of Montenegro. Second with Buducnost, had 3 seasons with Derby. 5 years in one city for an
Yeah.
American, it's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, so
Pretty
uncommon,
uncommon.
and I think he's getting to the next level in his role because if we pay attention to the minutes he plays and the shoots and the shots he takes and also make, it's so impressive. 2 rounds ago against Besiktas, he only
Yeah.
played 11
No,
minutes.
against Bahcesehir. Bahcesehir. It was Bahcesehir.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's okay. I saw the
yeah,
initials and I thought too, but it was actually Bahcesehir. Yeah, yeah. It's all right. It's all right.
um, 5 out of
23 points, I think,
seven.
in 11 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, 5 out of 7, and then yeah, he played 30 minutes against Ulm. But if you look at his numbers and things like that, 13 minutes against Trento in round three, and he made 3 out of 3 3 pointers. I think I mean there's no time to get warm and to get into the game and because these 13 minutes aren't continues. I guess he played like 6 minutes and then 7 minutes, and you get cold when you go to the bench. You get cold, and you may I know these are professional people, but you need to that's you need to feel the ball. You need to feel the game. That's why because many players touch the ball before the game, during the free throws, things like that. And this guy is a sniper. He doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if he's been in the bench for all the game. He's 17 out of 13, 31 3 pointers. He he's been a Kendrick Nunn in the free throws. He's 17 out of 17 without missing anyone, and he has the projection to get a like a 60 55 100% season. I know these numbers aren't very real because things get balanced, as you said, and also as he said. And I think this is this is not very real. I think he's a sniper and he is very efficient, but I think this will go down a little bit. But yeah, he has the opportunity to make a 40, 50, 90 season.
I mean, he's got an opportunity to almost do 60, 50,
Yeah, yeah.
90. I mean,
That's
even
what I meant.
60,
But
which would be insane. I mean, even fit,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's physically impossible. So that's why.
yeah, yeah. All right. Let's move to our surprises.
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I gotta go with um I have it here. I Jaleen Smith alongside I gotta say Seamus Hazer. I think this a double pack for me today because Bahcesehir got a very good win against Hapoel Tel Aviv, 90 to 82. Jaleen Smith came close to a EuroCup record with 15 assists, while Seamus Hazer scored career high 23 points. So I think those are two very impressive performances to win one of the contenders of the competition, as is Hapoel Tel Aviv. And I think this was a direct clash to dispute the first spot of the Group A, and Bahcesehir grabbed a key win. They overcome Hapoel in a game relocated, all in Belgrade. So the Turkish now are in a good position. I think they surprising more than anyone because we knew Valencia was going to be up there. We knew Hapoel Tel Aviv. We were only in general we're speaking about the Hapoels, Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, Valencia, maybe Gran Canaria, but I think Bahcesehir was a
Be
little bit of
careful. Be careful. Where
yeah,
they
yeah,
am?
yeah,
I'm looking up right now. I had them number five. I had them five.
yeah,
Actually, man, I had them behind
and
Besiktas. Man,
and
oh
and,
my
and
God.
yeah, and
You know,
and
number three? Number three in my power rank was a Joventut.
and I
Man,
think they're literally
ah,
the second best
hey.
team now. So I think they are the dark horse of this competition. I know you had them at 5. That's a very good position, but you can be a dark horse if you
Yeah,
are
sure. Sure,
the
sure.
number 2 contender of the competition right now.
Yeah.
So and yeah, they're still the very good victory, and also they had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. They had like a very consistent win. You can win against Hapoel Tel Aviv, having like some of intrigue in the final minutes, but no, they had the game in control. Patrick Beverly had a very good game. They're now mentioning him in the EuroLeague because he always speaks and
Well, let's go there. Okay. So Jaleen Smith, usually you say 2-1, 2-1, assist turnover ratio. 3-1 is pretty good. 15-1,
yeah,
assist turnover ratio for Jaleen Smith. Because we're kind of running out of time slowly but surely, but Tel Aviv was without Jonathan Motley, and
yeah,
we talked about a couple weeks ago with Devin Robinson of Cedevita. Maybe he might be someone who could to move to the EuroLeague. We've now seen Motley go, and we've also seen David DeJulius leave Aris to go to Maccabi. So,
yeah,
that might actually have a dynamic on some of these top teams, whereas the EuroLeague, who have an injury here or whatever there, they might be picking away at some of these EuroCup teams players. And so, that's something that we want to watch. Really quick, my surprise is Jean-Marc Panza. We actually I talked about him after he scored 16 in the first game. It gives us actually a chance to mention Borg, a big victory on their part. They had lost 2 in a row, and to knock off Cedevita 83-90 on the road, to snap a 2-game losing streak, 14.6 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds, including a big one really late in the game after a missed free throw, to make it a 6-point game. So basically to ice the game for Pensa. Panza, he's had a good season, pretty much the entire way. And I really I don't want to talk too much more about him because I would like to get a little bit more to the end of the to the other games that are going on for next week. But he has had now 4 games in double digits. For a guy who, as I mentioned at the begin, in the after the first round, he was in the second division, and has come up to Borg. So definitely hats off to Jean-Marc Panza.
yeah.
So let's move to round 8, and really some fantastic games. Maybe the biggest one you'll be watching.
Yeah, I think Wolves Trento has my attention because they are not maybe the most impressive teams, or this is not the most impressive match, but I think there's some stories there that are worth it because a fifth position against an eighth position that are very close, just a one win close. So Wolves has a 4 win streak, and Trento has 2 wins in the last 3 games. So they have very similar numbers in the offense and the defense. I think this is gonna be a very intriguing and interesting match because of their dynamic, and this will be a very good test for both of them, and this may be one of the games that mark or settle the level for a spot in the playoffs. So
Yeah, definitely we'll have Trento would really like to get that win to pull
yeah,
the 500, and then it would also be a direct victory over Wolves. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting games. Valencia, Cedevita, the third game in a row where they're playing big time opponents. Valencia, Borg,
yeah,
and now Jerusalem, Borg, and now Valencia. You also have Cluj and Lietkabelis, 3-4, 2-4. Uh,
let's see.
Besiktas.
let's see, David, if Valencia and Cedevita can play because I'm not sure at all. I didn't mention it because I don't really know. But if
Yeah. That I mean, obviously, that's their first home game in the Euro Cup since they're going to be playing it.
yeah,
To be honest, I I'm sure the Euro Cup really wants to play this game because
yeah,
then if you
but
have two games that I understand, I totally understand. But if you get two games where you're trying to catch up,
yeah,
that could get problems some later on. Yeah, Ulm, big game for Ulm. Bahcesehir. Ulm's lost three of their last four games.
Mhm.
And so, they're gonna want to take this game and then of course, I mean, heck, and that just shows you how many great games there are this week. Jerusalem, Borg, two teams at 5-2 in Group B, and then we also have Joventut. And you almost have to say this is a must win. They're 2-5. Buducnost is at 3-4. So if they lose to Buducnost, that sets them even further back, ninth place already. So loads of fun. But that's next round, and we will talk about that next week. Sergio, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on the social medias?
Yeah, on the social medias, I'm Llebres 11, Llebres 11, double Lebres 11.
And I am at Hein News, HEINNEWS on Twitter. Everybody, have a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy the action in round 8 on the road to greatness for the BKT EuroCup. This is Gone Traveling, and we are out.